So, good evening again. We're here tonight for a town hall meeting regarding an officer-involved shooting that occurred on June 9, 2018 at approximately 12:17 a.m. in the area of 1300 block of Grant Avenue. The involved individual, Oliver Barcenas, I think I'm pronouncing that right, was injured as a result of the officer-involved shooting. With that said, here's what we want to accomplish today. First of all, we want to be transparent by the release of known facts involving the incident in a non-judgmental way. As we release the facts, I'd like to emphasize that this is an ongoing investigation, and as such, there are some facts involving the investigation that we cannot release tonight, because we either do not have the answers at this point of the investigation, and or the release of certain information could compromise our investigation.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening. There's a couple of pictures that are going to be turned now. One is the area where the shooting occurred. The second picture is a picture of a firearm that we recovered that night at the scene that was in possession of Mr. Barcenas. I will talk a little bit about that during this briefing. The media will receive this as well as soon as we're done. But these are the facts as we know them today for the incident that occurred on June 9th at approximately 17 minutes after 12 o'clock. Two uniformed officers from Central Station were on patrol in a marked police vehicle. The officers observed four individuals standing at the corner of Grant Street and Vallejo, and the officers decided to contact a group of four individuals for an open alcohol container in public violation. One officer made contact with the group of four individuals and engaged in a dialogue about the open alcohol container while his partner parked their vehicle. After a brief dialogue between the officer and the four individuals, one of the four, who was later determined to be 28-year-old San Francisco resident Oliver Barcenas, began to flee on foot on Grant Avenue towards Green Street. The officer pursued Mr. Barcenas on foot, and during the pursuit, Mr. Barcenas removed and discarded the jacket that he was wearing and drew a firearm from his waist. After Mr. Barcenas drew a firearm from his waist, the pursuing officer discharged his firearm at Barcenas, striking him. Mr. Barcenas fell to the ground. The officers called for medical aid, and Mr. Barcenas was then transported to Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital for treatment. He remains there today receiving treatment. The preliminary evidence indicates that the officer fired 2 rounds at Mr. Barcenas. The hospital at this time is not providing information as to how many times Mr. Barcenas was struck, but the video appears to show that Mr. Barcenas was struck in the back. He remains at Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital being treated for his injury. A firearm was located at the scene. As I mentioned earlier, it is pictured here today. The firearm is a Glock 45 caliber, which was equipped with a laser sight and contained 26 rounds. The officer's body-worn camera, this is the officer that was involved in the shooting, was activated and it captured the shooting. The officer's partner, who did not witness the shooting, had his body-worn camera activated. You will see that tonight. We have also located 2 videos from private businesses that captured the incident. There were multiple witnesses to this incident that were identified and were interviewed. Both the involved officer and his partner have been interviewed. Mr. Barcenas was arrested and charged with delaying an officer, carrying a concealed firearm, exhibiting a firearm, and being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm. As the Chief mentioned earlier, we are in the process of evaluating the safety of the named member, and we will release his name consistent with policy, should there be no safety concerns. The Chief also mentioned earlier the independent investigations that are occurring between the District Attorney's Office and the Department of Police Accountability, as well as our Administrative Internal Affairs. We are going to show you a number of videos tonight. The first video that you will see is the body worn camera video from the officer that was involved in the shooting. You will see the officer initially in their vehicle. He will exit it, contact the 4 individuals, have a dialogue with them. You will see Mr. Barcenas flee on foot, the pursuit, and then the shooting. We'll play that for you now.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
So anytime there's an incident of this magnitude, there's always community questions and concerns, and so Captain Paul Yett will address measures that he's taken to keep the community informed and some of the things that we're doing in terms of community safety.
Thanks, Chief. So as the captain of Central Police Station, I'm working with our supervisors of the officers at Central Station to really maximize our coverage to, our primary goal is public safety for not only the Upper Grand area, but for the entire district. So we will take a close look at our staffing and really maximize our coverage of these areas and do our best to keep this community safe. And I'm going to leave it at that we're working really hard and looking at coverage, all times of day, 24/7. And this incident, after that happened, of course, we're going to be looking at the upcoming weekends and ensuring that our staffing is adequate.
In the almost 20 years I've been on and off the Board of Supervisors, this is my 4th non-contiguous term. I believe this is the first officer-involved shooting that I've had in my district. While those videos don't look good to me as a civilian, but as one of the lawmakers in this town, I do want to note that as policing in America has changed, that what is happening right here did not historically happen. Historically, previous chiefs would say it was a clean kill or a clean shot. We did not have in those days body-worn cameras. We did not have these kind of community availabilities to actually address the commission and to have people say what I heard an individual here say this evening. I do want to thank the department for waking me up at 1:02 in the morning to let me know that it had happened. Captain Yett subsequently, by then I was back sound asleep at 5:15 for calling me, and I followed up with him at 7:30 in the morning. But I do want to recognize that while this is a rare incident for the northeast corner of San Francisco, that policing and transparency has changed, and I'm appreciative of that. I hope that the independent investigations in this matter are truly independent, that this level of transparency continues. To Commander McEachran, I want to say that it's actually Grant Avenue, not Grant Street. I'm just teasing you because your father used to live around the corner. And I also want to mention that our newest member of the Police Commission, Commissioner Hamasaki, is here. And he actually lives around the corner, and I voted for him the last time when he did not get on the commission, and I salute his perseverance because he is now on the commission. I know he takes this matter and officer-involved shootings very seriously. To Mr. Henderson, I want to actually note that the Department of Police Accountability is also a change in policing oversight and policy that the Board of Supervisors put on the ballot that is now going to investigate this matter, and Mr. Henderson, who I've known for many years, is in charge of that department, and we all supported him in that endeavor. So yeah, this is, that video does not, those videos do not look good. I do understand and believe that the individual who ironically was shot once before by the San Francisco Police Department had a weapon. Nonetheless, and as I looked at those, and I actually agree with the gentleman in the back of the room, I would love to see that first video in slow motion. I did not see the part where he takes the jacket off. I did not see the part where anybody's swinging around with a gun. So having said that, we will let these independent investigations run their course. I hope that they are truly independent. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming here and being with the community.
Anybody wants to speak from the light up here? Go ahead.
I want to face the group.
I'm here in support of the North Beach Police Department. I was awakened at like 12:18 in my residential hotel. I got dressed immediately, I went to the window. I could see everything that was happening up halfway up from Grant to where Grant goes into Columbus Street. I want to compliment the police for how fast they got there and secured the environment, put themselves in harm's way, not knowing what was going to happen next. They were very heroic. The crowd around the saloon was hysterical. I don't even know if they knew about the shooting yet. It was an alcohol-fueled night to the nth degree. There have been other shootings in this area. Like about 2 years ago, I saw the bullet wound myself outside of my hotel when Roy Montini was shot. And there was a shooting on Broadway. Our police officers were completely heroic. I can't speak for the incident itself because I didn't see that. But I watched how they put the perimeters around the scene to protect us. They were out there for us to secure the space, and they did it. And I've known many members from the police department here in North Beach for 34 years. And believe me, this is an honorable group of people, and they're doing the best they can. But I can't speak for the shooting. I just think the citizens, all of us, we need to be better educated about why police do things. And they secured a riotous crowd by the saloon. Those people were screaming and shrieking, and there's just a lot. The incident down in the Mission Street at the barber shop, a family member called on that incident to say that that relative had a gun and he was in the barber shop. So what are you going to do when you show up? We have to think about what is actually happening. We need to be better educated. And I just want to say I've had the most blessed experiences with the North Beach Police. Thank you.
I want to go back to the very beginning. It seems to me that what we're being told is that there were 4 men standing around in a circle, and there was an assumption that they were drinking, or maybe it was actually true, or in fact, they were drinking from an open container. And all of a sudden, the police come and everything falls apart. Why did this policeman go running after this guy? So what if he ran? What does it mean that he had to shoot him to get him to stop when he didn't even know what was going on? I really think that this is why the SFPD needs to be employed in all the recommendations that were made by the DOJ. Now, I just want to say one more thing, and that is that I have a lot of concern about the people who are actually going to be investigating this incident. First of all, I think any of us who desire to educate ourselves know that the District Attorney, George Gascon, is first and primarily a politician. And he's not going to do anything unless he feels absolutely safe. Secondly, he has never indicted any police for anything, and it's not going to happen. Secondly, the police internal affairs. I'm aware of what the Department of Internal Affairs did to Joel Babb, and I don't like those people. I don't know them, but I don't like what they did to him. There was huge participation. How can the police investigate themselves? That's no investigation. And finally, the Department of Police accountability is really the only department that is free of being uninvolved with the police.
Seems to me that we're not necessarily understanding the whole story. So for all of us, as we seek to get a better understanding of how that type of thing can happen, you've mentioned that he was a felon in possession of a firearm, and Supervisor Peskin mentioned that he had been shot by the police before. So clearly there's a history that happened, and he's only 28 years old. There's a history that happened before this particular night. Can you tell us more about this person's history? Felon for what? Did the police maybe recognize him from previous interactions? Can you help us understand more of what happened before that night? Thank you.
Yeah, well, let me address that one. It would be appropriate for us, and actually we can't disclose a person's criminal history beyond what Commander McEachran has shared with you. And I just want to remind everybody, I know when you see a video and we have limited facts right now, it's very difficult because people want answers. And that is really the purpose of all these investigations. You know, our purpose of coming here tonight is to be transparent, get everything out in the open. Then the investigative process with all these different investigations that are happening will happen. It's really difficult because I know you do want answers to some of the questions that you're asking. And as I said in my opening, some answers we don't have yet. There's still more interviews to be done with the officers. We're looking for witnesses that might shed more light on this situation. And we just want to get the facts out there. We are not up here to make judgments on the investigation at this point because it's too early.
What we could see would look very dangerous to me, that there were so many people on the street that night. What if his bullet, the policeman's bullet, had gone where it shouldn't have gone? That just seemed like that was too close. A very, very dangerous situation. The man running away wasn't posing as much of a problem to me as the policeman shooting him with all of those people around. I think that was very careless to me. And then secondly, from what I could see of the video, there's no indication of where the suspect's gun fell. I couldn't see, my eyesight isn't the greatest, but I couldn't see where it fell from what he took from his waistband and threw it away. You showed us a picture of the weapon, but where it was in relationship to how this all played out, we didn't see that. And that's something that made us very curious. Thank you.